meeting for July 21st at 6 p.m. Can we have a Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Amen. In case of an emergency, you could exit the room by the back doors, or you could go out the door to my left, down the stairs and away from the building. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley. Here. Kelly Hemler.
Here.
Ann Collins. Here.
Here.
Okay.
Ken Kaufman.
Here.
Chris Renault.
He's on.
Here.
Okay.
Oh, here. Okay. Thank you. Robert Gillespie.
Here.
Chris Slotaki.
He's absent.
Okay.
So it appears everybody's here, so I can't see anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, public communications and petitions. Is there anybody in the audience who want to talk on items not on the agenda? Anybody want to talk about items not on the agenda? Seeing none, moving forward. I don't have any correspondence. We have minutes from July 7th. Where'd my minutes go?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 7th, 2026.
Second.
Second is Ken. Any discussion? Where'd they go? I had my minutes. I don't have any. Anybody have any? Okay, roll call then?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Abstain.
Virginia Higley. Abstain. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Robert Gillespie.
Abstain.
Abstain. 3 abstain, 5 in favor, motion passes. Now, Bob is not seated. Bob's not seated?
No.
Right. So that his abstain doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
So there's 5 in favor, 2 abstain. Town attorney report is none. Continued public hearings is none. New public hearings is none. Old business is none. Moving on. New business. IW 730, 64 Palumba Drive, Unit 01, application for a wetlands permit for construction of a permeable paver parking lot, driveway, and reconstruction of an existing parking lot for vehicle storage within the Upland Review Area. Gale Toyota applicant, Michael Green owner, map 56, lot 18, BR zone. Are the applicants here?
Madam Chair, this is one of my customers, my bookkeeping customers, so I'm going to recuse myself and leave the dais.
Okay. Yes, she does. She does, yeah. Can the applicants come forward if they're here? Sorry. Yeah, they do, because they're not supposed to do anything. Could you state your name and addresses for the record?
Michael Green, 687 Hull Hill Road, Summers, Connecticut.
Hi.
Guy Hesketh with F.A. Hesketh and Associates. Corporate offices are at 6 Creamery Brook in East Granby, Connecticut.
Welcome, gentlemen. Could you give us a little update on your project?
Yes, so this is an application for a wetlands permit to construct an additional parking area on the parcel at 64 Paloma Drive to facilitate off-street storage parking of 20 vehicles. The proposed parking area will be accessed from the existing paved driveway and curb cut at 64 Paloma Drive. Gale Toyota has proposed to use a permeable concrete paver with pea stone in between, claiming that the surface would have similar infiltration and hydrologic runoff characteristics as a lawn or landscaped area. Additionally, the existing paved parking area is to be reconfigured to reduce its impervious footprint and increase the number of parking spaces from 19 to 22. The western edge of this existing lot would be extended closer to the building, and the spaces would be restriped to either 9 or 8 foot widths. Pavement section, perimeter curbing, and existing grading will be replicated. For wetlands, the GIS records indicate that there's a large wetland area occupying the southern half of the parcel at 64 Paloma Drive. All of the proposed construction and parking lot modifications appear to be within the upland review area from these mapped wetlands. There is a soil science report for you guys to reference. The project includes sediment fence for erosion control on the east property line along Paloma Drive between the proposed parking lot and the road. There's also another sediment fence around the proposed temporary soil stockpile That's on sheet GR-1. The site plans also detail that there are to be catch basin, inlet protections, tree protections, and a construction exit pad. These control measures appear to meet the town and state standards.
Thank you. Gentlemen?
Yeah, good evening. For the record, Guy Hesketh, licensed professional engineer. Our firm assisted Gale Toyota in the application of the materials that you have before you, including the plans and the drainage study that we submitted. Is there a way to project the plan up on the screen?
Sorry?
You want to put the plan on the screen?
If it makes sense. So, what we're coming here this evening because, excuse me, Gale Toyota, as you understand, they're under construction now, remodeling their facility, and they've identified not only short-term but long-term needs to have some additional areas for vehicle parking, and they have some interest in part of the condominium association that's there at the existing building at 64 Palumba, and they've approached the board there and have an agreement with them to allow construction, some additional parking on the 64 Palumba site. So really what we're doing there is we're going to take the existing parking that's on the north half of the paved parking that's on the north half of the facility, and we're going to reconstruct that and make it a little bit more efficient than what we've got there now. We can peel the parking and have it 10 feet off the edge of the building, reduce the drive aisle width, and change some of those parking spaces to compact parking spaces, actually pick up another 3 spaces in that parking area there. And then we're proposing to have 20 vehicle parking space in the area between that existing paved parking area and Palumba. And we're going to do that by not putting in a conventional pavement that you'd see a typical blacktop. We have what we call green pavers, and essentially what they are, they're checkerboard pattern concrete structures that have void spaces in them. And what that allows you to do, you can either plant grass in them or you can put pea stone in there. And we've had more luck over the years using a pea stone material in there. But what it does is it allows for infiltration of runoff to actually go into the soil. It only works if you have the right subsoil conditions, which we have in that area. That we've gone out and done some testing. We found out that the subsoils in that area are sandy soils like they are in many parts of town. And this allows us to put that in there, put a little structure by using some crushed stone material and some sand material. And that will allow when runoff hits that, instead of running off, it infiltrates into the ground. It basically simulates the hydrologic characteristics of what you have there with the grass itself that's there. So that's what we're proposing to do. So the plan set that we put together shows those, the reconstruction of the paved parking area, and then also the new green paver parking areas that are located to the east. Of course, we have to meet your zoning regulations as far as setbacks and buffers and landscaping and stuff like that. So we work with staff, and we've come up with a plan that includes that. So as staff indicates, the regulated area is really south of the entrance drive that we have there, so we're not proposing any disturbance in that area. So we have a hard barrier between what we're proposing and the entrance drive of 64 Palumba. All of our activities will be taking place north of that, and we do have adequate soil erosion sediment control measures that we're implementing. As staff indicated, construction exit. We're going to have silt sacks on the catch basins in that area, silt fence erosion control around the perimeter. And again, with the soil being sandy, once we strip the topsoil off, temporarily stockpile it, that'll be removed from the site, and then the materials will be replaced with the green pavers and create that parking area. We do have some barriers that staff had requested to make sure people don't drive off of that parking area, and rather than using a curb in there, we want to keep it sort of natural and sheet flow. We're going to propose to have wooden posts at the end of each parking space so the vehicle cannot traverse past that area and into the grass itself. Those are shown on the plan. And we've done, as I mentioned, the study that we've done to determine that the infiltration capacity of the soils there is adequate for that. So we've come up with something that we feel works pretty well. We are required to relocate the sign that's there which we will move a little bit closer to the street. There are some shrubs at that drive that right now, and they're really tall, they impede on sight distance. We're going to remove those, and we're going to replace it with street trees that will be placed up along in accordance with your zoning requirements along the street itself. So it'll have a rather soft appearance from the road because it won't be a blacktop material. And in a nutshell, that's essentially what we're proposing. There are no direct wetlands impacts, as I mentioned. It's all upland review area impacts, and I think we take adequate measures by meeting the Connecticut Department of Energy Environmental Protection standards for soil erosion sediment control, and that also meets your town standards. So, having said that, there's really not much more to say. Oh, one other thing, the FEMA flood insurance rate map depicts the floodway associated with Freshwater Brook at elevation 115. That's the 100-year base flood elevation. All of our activities are taking place above that, so we have no impact to the base flood elevation there. So once we get this done, the temporary disturbance, it'll be restored, and there'll be no long-term or short-term impacts, either the flooding, flood areas or the wetlands themselves. So having said that, that concludes my presentation. We'd be certainly glad to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
I have a question for Jeffrey. Is water pollution control?
They have not made any comments as of today. Also, really quick, Donna, would you like to seat Bob as a voting member for this application because Kelly is absent?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. Thank you for saying that, yeah. We could seat Bob, because Kelly
Okay.
stepped away.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, snow storage. If you plow them.
Yeah, there. I don't know if you could put the plan up. There are areas that are adjacent to what we're proposing, and that's the use of the wood posts that we have there will allow having snow storage around the perimeter. So that was what we anticipate, similar to what they do there now. There are enough green space areas between the existing parking and what we're proposing for the grass paver that we will have an area for snow storage. In the event that there's really a significant storm, and like they do at the dealership now, every once in a while they have to haul that material off-site, and that would be our provision. But we think 90% of the storms, we have adequate storage area on-site to be able to handle those.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns?
I see you're moving the sign, correct? The tree is staying?
There are two nice trees right at the entrance. Yeah, we're keeping those. In fact, we shrunk the width of our drive in that area to save that tree. But absolutely, yeah, they're beautiful trees. We don't want to mess with those.
Yeah.
We just have a note from engineering about a note on one of the sheets. That'll just have to be updated for the as-built.
Yeah, about the certificate of occupancy versus certificate of compliance or some or zoning certificate. Yeah, we'll take care of that in the final plan. Absolutely.
Do you have any new soils coming in? Probably not.
I'm sorry?
Any new soils coming in? Probably not.
No, it's a
Gonna
net
use what you
removal
have.
project. Yeah.
Probably sand, base layer sand or something.
Yeah, the sand, the materials that are out there are structurally sound, so they meet a subgrade requirement, sub-base requirement per DOT standard. So we're going to remove the topsoil, just a tiny bit of the sand, and then we're going to replace it with processed stone material and crushed stone. Yeah.
It's nice that you considered using the pavers. That's a great way to go. So thank you.
Yeah, we think it's a good idea. And since it's close to the road, we want to kind of soften the effect anyway. And I think this will come a long way, or go a long way with softening the effect. And
Ann or Chris, do you have anything? No? Okay. Anybody else? Are you all set?
Good?
I think it's more planned on it.
Okay.
Handicap spots.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 730, 64 Palumbo Drive, Unit 1, application for a wetlands permit for construction of a permeable paver parking lot, driveway, and reconstruction of existing parking lot for vehicle storage within the Upland Review Area. Gale Toyota applicant, Michael Green, owner, map 56, lot 18, BR zone.
Second.
Okay, Kevin and Ginny seconded. Any further comments, discussion? Seeing none. Okay, roll call, please.
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler, oh, she's
not-
absent.
no,
I mean,
she's-
recused
You
herself.
accuse yourself,
yeah.
yep.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Robert Gillespie.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck with your
Appreciate
project.
you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So there's only 6 of us?
Yes, good presentation.
Yeah, okay. Next, oh, we gotta have Kelly come back in?
Yeah,
Is she out there?
There she is.
There she is.
oh, okay.
Thank you. Give her a minute. Okay. Next is IW 731.
Do you have to unseat Bob?
Do we have to unseat him now? No?
No.
Okay. Because it was only for that one, yeah. IW 731, 35 Crescent Beach Drive, application for a wetland permit to construct a home addition with a garage and front porch within Upland Review Area. James Patson applicant, Julia Pillar owner, map 98, lot 3, R33, LFOD zone. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. Could you state your name and address for the record?
What was that?
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
James Patson, 109 Franklin Woods Drive, Summers.
Okay.
This is an application for a wetlands permit to construct a home addition within the 100-foot upland review area from Crescent Lake. The proposed activity includes removing the existing 300-square-foot detached garage on the property and expanding the existing home to the northwest about 850 square feet, including a now attached garage, around 620 square feet, and a covered porch, 124 square feet. The design attempted to keep the additions tucked up in the corner of the land as far away as possible from the lake. But the Enfield GIS does show a large wetland watercourse. It's Crescent Lake. It's along the southeast property line. This entire neighborhood is located on a peninsula that extends out into the lake. Again, these proposed additions all appear to be within the upland review area from this watercourse. Submitted site plans detail a silt fence surrounding the proposed additions between the home and the lake. The applicant also claims that any stockpile will be stored in the top northwest corner of the lot with an additional silt fence around it, also detailed in the site plans and the narrative. Silt fences are to be adequately installed and maintained throughout the excavation and construction processes. The applicant claims that the addition has a 4-foot crawl space underneath it that will minimize excavation and fill removal to under 100 cubic yards. The applicant has also stated that the lot itself has minimal slope to it and shouldn't be a problem to control. A soil science report was not submitted as part of this application, as the proposed disturbances are all within the upland review area and not the delineated wetlands.
Okay, you want to speak to your application?
Yeah, so basically, they're trying to expand the home. They, the design, it removes an existing deck, and it's just going to have a small landing and stairs, and removing the existing garage that's detached. The new proposed garage attached to the addition, it pulls it away from the setback line for as far as zoning, but by removing those two items, the square foot gets as far as the zoning within the allowable coverage on the lot. So the direction of the addition is further from the lake than the existing home, and it couldn't be tucked up anymore to still meet the zoning setbacks. I mean, we're just within a few feet of the zoning setback on the property line. There's existing gravel driveway present there now. it's approximately 4-foot crawl space under the addition. That would be the bulk of the material being removed off-site. The garage would just have a frost wall and be backfilled, so minimal disruption on the site work there. The existing utilities come in front of the proposed addition and then take a sharp turn, and the meter is mounted on the existing house. So I don't think we're going to have to do anything as far as altering utilities coming in. That's the bulk of it. It's definitely relatively flat. It's not like on the side of a hill, so controlling the erosion shouldn't be a problem. Pretty diligent about maintaining during any of my construction jobs. So if there's a huge storm, we'd be checking it ahead of time, even during, whatever it takes to make sure everything's protected. I'd say that's the bulk of it.
Okay, thank you. I don't think, oh, they did have a question if you're bringing in any more soil.
As far as bringing in,
Yeah.
the majority, if anything brought in, would be probably a little bit of fresh gravel for the driveway.
Okay.
There's material there. I'm not sure of the exact quality. They've been driving in and out like a horseshoe driveway for, I don't know exactly how many years, but we'd probably freshen it up a little bit pulling into the garage area. I'm not anticipating needing any large amount of fill. That would probably be the bulk of it. Whatever soil, the topsoil would be more than enough to regrade around the building that's existing. And yeah, so probably minimal, couple truckloads of gravel probably in the driveway area.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments?
If anything changes with as far as needing fill, should we just tell him he just needs to come back and let staff know?
I'm not sure if he's going to really need it.
Yeah,
right?
you won't need it, because they're digging out.
Taking out.
Right. It doesn't sound like it, but I'm just saying if something changed.
Yeah.
There would be no need.
Okay.
There would
Okay.
be no need.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah,
you.
we
No, that's
are
a good question.
removing fill, so we would just not over-remove
Yeah.
where we dig the basement. So there should be,
Yeah, I don't think
as
they
long as
should
we don't
really
take
need
too
any.
much out, we wouldn't be bringing more back.
Yeah,
He's a good builder.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think so, yeah. Okay. You did have a question here from engineering about the FEMA zone? We don't do FEMA.
Yeah, one of the engineers asked or said that the licensed land surveyor should field verify that none of the proposed addition is within the FEMA flood zone. The plan submitted states that it was not field verified, but it was based on the town GIS and is only intended to illustrate the location of the house, the addition, and the property lines. But according to FEMA, the 100-year flood elevation is 189.9. And according to the GIS, all of the existing house and most of the proposed addition are within the FEMA flood zone.
Do they have to go to Beaver or something?
From looking at the plans, it looks like it's in there's part of the home that's in the 100-year floodplain, but all the proposed work is within the 500-year. So they wouldn't need a permit. They wouldn't need, yeah.
Thank you. Keep forgetting.
That's just according to the GIS, though, it's not been field. So
Correct. It was not
we know how that
field
goes
verified.
sometimes, but
Okay.
listen, you live near a lake, flooding happens. Right? It's gonna.
Probably eventually.
There is water in sight.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anybody else have any comments? Ann, Chris? No? Okay, they're shaking their heads. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none? Wait.
Oh, sorry. And removal of the existing, that's going to happen in a day. Nothing's going to sit there,
Yeah, just the existing garage is pretty minor.
go right into a dumpster.
Yeah, that would be hauled out in dumpster.
Yeah. And a deck or something you're taking down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the deck that would be minimal too.
Yeah,
Might be a couple piers there to pull out, but nothing major.
didn't look too big. I think that'll be, should be fine. Okay. I don't have anything else. No.
I will make a motion to approve IW number 731 35 Crescent Beach Drive, application for a wetlands permit to construct a home addition with a garage and front porch within Upland Review area. James Patson, applicant. Julie Pillar, owner. Map 98, Lot 3, R33, LFOD zone.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second is Ginny. Any further discussion? Comments? Nope. Okay, roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
We're
Oh, wait, Chris is a member.
Chris?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's on.
Chris.
Yep, yes.
7.
Sorry.
Yeah,
He was
Got
quiet.
you
He was
there.
quiet over there.
he's not sitting next to him, that's
I
why.
know. Over here.
You should have said something. Thank you.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Are you voting yes?
Yes, he is. He said yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
I thought we were short one the last one.
He's too much of a gentleman.
Yeah.
That's-
All right. So
Thank you very
we're
much.
good? All right.
Yes, you're fine, thank you.
Thank you so much
Go ahead
for
with your
everyone on the
project.
board.
Okay. So next we have IW 732, 13 Hilliard Drive, application for a wetland permit to construct a home, barn, farm stand, and associated improvements within the upland review area. Thomas Bercuglio? Okay. Applicant owner, map 18, lot 277, R33 zone. Welcome, gentlemen. State your name and addresses for the record.
So my name's Eric Peterson. I'm a surveyor and engineer with Gardner and Peterson Associates in Tallinn, Connecticut. This is TJ.
Welcome.
Thomas Bercuglio, 12 Riverview Street.
Welcome. Welcome back. Okay. You're up, Jeffrey.
Okay. This is an application for a wetlands permit to construct a new house, garage, and barn within the 100-foot upland review area from the mapped wetlands on the property at 13 Hilliard Drive. The background of this application stems from a previous cease and desist order that was issued last year on March 8th, 2025, after the property owner conducted excavation work and tree clearing activity without a permit. But the property owner attended the next IWWA regular meeting and met with town staff to resolve the situation. Since then, one anonymous complaint was filed with the Planning and Zoning Department, which resulted in a notice of violation being sent to the property owner back on June 9th of this year. However, the Wetlands Commission voted to close the violation when the property owner claimed that no construction activities have occurred since the original cease and desist was issued, and the owner would like to now obtain a wetlands permit in order to continue work on the property, including tree cutting, stumping, land grading, driveway and utility installation, and associated construction with the house and outbuildings. One quick update to this. We did have another neighbor come in last week on 7/14/2026 to complain about a figure-8 dirt bike course that had been constructed on the property, specifically in the area on the site plans marked as the pasture. But we showed the complainant the site plans and explained how the property is already being disturbed and is in the process of getting a permit, so it was kind of a moot point. Also, we did not see this dirt bike course when we inspected the property back in June, but just wanted to let the commission know. For wetlands, Davison Environmental delineated 3 wetland areas on this property back in 2025. This delineation was conducted in accordance with the requirements of the Connecticut Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Act. There are 3 wetlands on the site, seasonally flooded hydrology, potential for vernal pools. I'm sure you guys will get more into that when you talk about it. but from us, we think that the application does a pretty good job about avoiding the wetland areas. If you look at the site plan, it kind of goes around it. E&S control features, there are going to be sediment barriers, including silt fences and straw wattles installed prior to any stumping or land grading. During rough grading and before anticipated rainstorms, they're going to be inspected and repaired as needed. Submitted site plans detail the silt fence surrounding some of the proposed disturbed areas alongside the driveway and the proposed house and garage location. And additionally, a construction sequence is defined on the plans commencing with the installation of a construction entrance to prevent the passage of sediment onto Hilliard Drive. I'll let you guys get into more details about it now.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Jeff. That was a really thorough report. Really makes my job, I hope, easier.
I try.
There's a long history here with this property here. Since the cease and desist, TJ hired me, and he hired the soil scientist to really get this process started and to come and get to this point where we are today. Spent a little bit of time. That's probably a little bit of my fault, but here we are. So like the staff report said, there's 3 wetlands on site. To the far east of the property, our easterly boundary is a small brook that has wetlands associated with it. And then in the middle of the property is another forested wetland, and then on the left side or the west side of the property is it's called a wetland with a pond in it that takes water from really properties in all directions, and mostly the cul-de-sac road to the west, even its drainage goes into that pond. So you'll see that we've tried our best to utilize the areas that were already disturbed. So trees have been cut down and paths have been made. So we just decided, well, one, that's probably what TJ was envisioning to begin with anyway, but let's just use those areas for our pasture, for the path, or not the path, turn the path into the driveway. The farm stand, which is on the left side of the driveway as you enter the property, that's in an area that's already, the trees have been taken down. Same thing with the northerly pasture and even the southerly pasture. So we're really trying to minimize what we're doing on that site the rest of the way through. There is a flood zone that's associated with the easterly wetland in that brook. It's a flood zone X, they call it, which is, I believe they do not have an associated elevation with that. And the only improvements that we are showing within the flood zone is the construction of about 150 feet of the driveway. Our frontage on Hilliard Drive is the only access we have to this property. We have no other way of getting to this property except for off of the end of Hilliard Drive, which is, of course, within the flood zone. Our plans with the driveway, it's going to have a paved apron, and then it's going to be gravel the rest of the way through, and we're going to strip the topsoil down and replace that with the gravel surface so that we're not raising the elevation at all and thereby not reducing any flood storage associated with the flood zone. We're not building anything within the flood zone. We're not, with the exception of that driveway and the utilities that follow the driveway, because the proposed house is going to be served by public sewer and public water, which both terminate at the end of Hilliard Drive, as well as power and gas, actually. And so there'll be some trenching involved to bring in those utilities, but again, we're not doing any type of filling when we're all said and done. Let's see, so in the north side, they're going to have a farm area with some animals. There's some animal shelters, a storage shed over there, and a barn. And then as you move counterclockwise along that driveway, we head towards the proposed garage and the house. Like I said before, we are really surrounding all of our improvements with sediment barriers so that we're not going to be sending any sediment-laden runoff towards the wetlands at all. It's a really flat site as well, so it's really going to be pretty easy to contain that sediment within the sediment barriers. We have construction entrance, so we're not going to be tracking soil onto the public roads. And really, our only alternative to getting into the site is from Hillier, so we have to have some sort of upland review area disturbance. We have no actual wetland disturbance whatsoever. The applicant does want to, as I stated in the narrative with the application, they do want to maintain the property properly. That being that there's some dead trees out there that they want to take down, and if there are dead trees or invasive species within the wetlands themselves, they would just flush cut those trees and not, dig up stumps or anything like that, and not disturb the soils. So that's just something that I just wanted to put on the memo. That is something that he'd like to do because there are some widowmakers out there that need to be maintained. With that, we'd be happy to answer any questions regarding our application.
That was one of them about the vegetation. So thank you. Thank you on that.
Are there existing invasive species that you've noticed that you're concerned about?
There are some species, I think, associated, correct me if I'm wrong, on the easterly wetland.
Correct.
Yeah, in that flat area, it's between like the driveway and the
We
brook.
don't know what they are, though.
I don't know what they are, no, off the top of my head. And I don't think I saw them in the wetland report.
Jeffrey, has all the staff comments been completed, or?
We didn't have any additional ones. The building one, I think that was just, they're going to have to verify when they go for a building permit.
Oh, okay.
And then fire wanted to know the total distance down the driveway from the house to the closest hydrant. Probably because the fire trucks are going to have to come in and use the driveway. They're going to want to know that distance.
Yep.
But again, I think that would be more when you guys are going through with building permit.
Yeah, do you have a hefty snowplow budget?
That was my question. Where are you going to put the snow? They have it on?
There's plenty.
They just going to push it off to the sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's far enough away from the wetland area. Yeah, I did notice that.
Are you growing stuff here as well? Like, is there a garden? Or?
There will be, I would like to have gardens, yes.
Okay.
Some sort of crops, probably nothing too
Did
crazy.
you have an idea of where that would go?
Probably back here.
Probably close to the house.
Oh, okay.
Between the garage and the
Correct.
house? maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's going to have farm stand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Yeah.
because I need sun. With all the tree cover
Yeah.
now, there's not a lot of sun in there, so I don't want to take trees away. I don't have to.
Yeah,
Right.
excellent.
Yeah, I am impressed how you did that driveway.
Yeah.
You avoided the wetlands. I was like, wow, that is really good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That was a nice job.
It's a work of art.
And it doesn't look like you're going to need any fill at all, correct?
No, with the excavation of the basement for the
Yeah.
house and stripping of topsoil for the driveway, I think we're going to be fine. We're just be bringing in, obviously, gravel for the driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're leaving the stumps when you're taking down the trees, because that's a good option to preserve. So thank you.
Jeffrey, I did question Jeffrey. So I believe this is still residential? Yeah. It's not farm or anything, because then,
Yeah, I think the GIS shows it as vacant residential.
yeah,
So-
okay. Because if it's farm, then they have different
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
different rules. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay. Anybody else have any? Ann and Chris, any concerns, comments, questions? See them shaking their heads no? Okay. Anybody else have? No, looks nice.
Pretty straight.
Yeah, nice, straightforward. Yeah, be good. Okay, so we can do roll call.
I have one quick
Go-
question.
go, of
If you guys-
course.
We'll reverse roles a little bit.
Sure.
So if you guys do grant a permit that does kind of revoke the cease and desist?
Oh, that will happen right after this.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering about the procedure. That's
Yeah, no, it's on my agenda.
Okay.
Well, I wrote it in. It's not on the agenda.
All right. I will make a motion to approve IW number 732, 13 Hilliard Drive, application for a wetlands permit to construct a home, barn, farm stand, and associated improvements within the Upland Review area. Thomas Brocuglio, applicant owner, map 18, lot 277, R33 zone.
Second.
Okay, is Kevin and Kelly seconding?
Oh, Jenny was ready.
Yeah.
She's trying to catch up now.
She was out so long.
Make up, yeah.
Any more discussion, comments? No? Okay, roll call?
Donna Corbin Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
And Chris Renaud.
Yes.
Yes.
You remembered them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. So now we need a motion to close this violation. Do you have it?
No, I don't.
Is that,
All right.
is that the right one? 13 Hilliard, yep.
Yep. All right, I will make a motion to close the notice of violation for
13 Hilliard.
13 Hilliard Drive, Enfield, Connecticut, map 18, lot 277.
And it was dated?
Dated as of March 19th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, that's Kevin and Kelly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call to close the violation.
Donna Corbin Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renaud.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes to close the violation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck with
Thank
your
you very much.
project.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, give me a minute. Hello. Next is item D, XAAA 2602 40 Moody Road. Application for an agent approval to conduct a maintenance program to clear brush and silt from the townwide drainage structures and outlets. Applicant Matthew Koppler, Town Manager, Enfield, Connecticut. Hi,
Good evening, everyone. Donald Nunes, Director of Public Works. So,
welcome back.
I'm back.
It's been a
It's been a
while.
little bit. So before I begin, I want to say thank you to Stephen and to Jeffrey for helping me with this application. We've been a little short-staffed lately, and those two have been very wonderful with me in getting it here. And thank you for being able to read it last meeting, and so you can vote on it tonight. So about 5.5 years ago, I was here for the same permit. We're just kind of renew it, but we've made some great strides with complying with our municipal separate storm sewer system, otherwise known as MS4 requirements, and we have worked diligently with the consultant who actually mapped out all the outfalls that we are sort of responsible for. So before I had about 45, 50 locations, and through the last 5.5 years, we have identified there's about 355 locations throughout town. So instead of listing every one of them and boring you to absolute death and tears while you're up there, we put it all up on a map.
Yeah.
And so I have a map here. I'm going to blow it up for you folks.
There's a lot on there.
So everywhere you see a blue triangle,
Yep.
everywhere you see a blue triangle, everywhere you see a blue triangle. I can keep doing this all night.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's a tremendous amount. And so what we do is anytime that there's forecasted rain above a half an inch, so 0.5 inches or above, we send out 2 crews that go to these problematic sites that we have. Some of the culverts on the inlands have trash guards, so they actually have either bars or they'll have like a square grid to stop either human garbage or other detritus that happens and whatever it is. What we do is we make sure that all of those inlets and outlets are all clean, so that when the rains come, we don't get flooding in the streets. That is all that when we go on quote-unquote screens and grates, that's what all that is. We use hand tools. We don't use anything mechanical, so there's going to be no excavators. There's going to be nothing like that. All we do is we go in, clean out all the junk, throw it away, haul it out, and make sure that it flows, go to the next one, and go to the next one. If there was something major, this by no means, by granting this permit, would take over that. If we have a big, a silt removal project or whatever, I'll be back in front of you folks again. This is just for anything over a half an inch, and that's all it is. And it's just pretty straightforward. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and again, we've made some really great strides through our MS4 mapping and other areas that we've improved upon with that in the last 5.5 years. So
That's good.
that's the long and short of it.
On my way here today, fresh water right by Costco. 2 guys, white truck with rakes in their hand. 5 o'clock must have been on overtime.
Getting ready.
We're getting ready. So, but that's the whole long and short of it. So.
How long is it going to take them?
Well, again, now that we've kind of had these identified, most of us don't even know where these really are. They actually had surveyors go out and actually GPS locate them. So we're going to be able to go out there and throughout the year go at least try to hit them at least once to see what's going on, if there's anything that we need to do outside of that. But we still have our problem ones. Again, the ones that we always, sort of historically, the last since I've been here, it's whatever. Like the 45, 50 of them, but now we're adding a few more here and there because, again, more problem spots. And now that we're aware of it, now it makes some of the stuff makes sense why we're getting stuff downstream, or it makes sense if something flooded. It's all making better sense now since the mapping and things like that. So
Nice. Did you have anything to add?
Just that it's basically the same approval that you guys issued in 2021. The only difference is it went from 45 locations to 355 locations. So.
Wow, that was amazing.
Just
a little work.
A few hours
That's
driving
good
around.
planning.
That's fine.
Really, it just protects the wetlands.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So-
It does.
And make sure everything's flowing. And again, you'd be surprised. Again, we've pulled out plastic lawn chairs. We've pulled out mattress. We've pulled out.
We don't even want to know.
I want to know what it is. Yeah.
If you think about it, we've pulled it out of somewhere. That's basically what it is. With shopping care, I mean, it's just, yeah.
You should have a museum for all the stuff you pull out.
They have it down in Hartford, the trash museum.
That's funny.
All right, I will make a motion to approve XAAA number 26-02, 40 Moody.
Before you finish that, stop. So this is only good for 5 years, the permit.
It's an agent approval, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have to have them come back in another 5 years.
Well, that's why I'm back tonight, because the original approval is for 5.
Yeah.
I don't know what you folks do if you have
Is
a
there
longer
something we
one. I
could do
don't.
that they could do a maintenance? This could be regular maintenance?
I mean, I'd have to look into it. I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time.
Yeah, I was going to say, approve it this time.
Yeah, we'll approve it this time and we'll see about that.
That gives me 5 more years.
Where you could just go to agent approval and, have
That would be
it,
lovely. Yeah.
instead of having to,
Yeah.
because it's just regular maintenance that happens all
Yes,
the
and
time.
again,
Very thorough. We don't have to
other
worry about it.
project-based things, if we needed to do it, it would be under a different thing.
It would
and
be
we'd
under a
back.
different thing, but just regular maintenance, that's going to
Yes.
go on forever.
Yeah.
As long as there's a half an inch of rain
Rain or
predicted
more.
or more, we do it.
You're gonna have to, yeah.
So-
So maybe we could look into that for them.
yeah, we can research it and
See, propose
in the next
something.
5 years find out if
Yeah.
he's gonna have to come back or not.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Laws will probably change by then anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so 40 Moody Road, application for an agent approval to conduct a maintenance program to clear brush and silt from town-wide drainage structures and outlets. Applicant Matthew Koppler, Town Manager of Town of Enfield, Connecticut.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ken.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Ken's got
It was Ken got it first. So we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Yes. Kelly Himmler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
It was nice seeing you again.
Put it on your calendar for 4 years in case we got a different crew.
Oh, there you go. Good night.
Bye.
Retirement is good.
Yeah.
Enforcement report. We have a cease and desist for 174 Shaker Road.
Last meeting for 174 Shaker Road, the commission voted to continue to the next meeting. Rick inspected 2 weeks ago on the date of the last meeting, on July 7th, and the storage containers were gone, but the mulch piles were still there. So they have made progress, but we have not heard anything since then. I know the owners have reported some medical issues to the PZC, and that might explain the delay.
Did Rick go out again before today?
No.
No.
He did not.
So the mulch is probably still there.
Probably.
Probably.
Just leave it open.
Leave it open. Okay. Want to make that suggestion?
Yeah. I will make a motion to leave the cease and desist for 174 Shaker Road open.
Okay.
Second?
So that was Kevin and Ken. Leave open.
I'm not sure we even really have to vote on it, but
Yeah. Do we have to vote on it?
not
I
to
don't
leave
think
it
so.
open. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're
don't
just
have
gonna
to
leave it
vote on
open. All right. So maybe next meeting. Okay, next is a cease and desist for 8 Pilgrim Circle.
Madam Chair, before you start on this, I'm going to step down. This property belongs to my daughter and her late husband, so I will be out of the room.
Okay. Thank you. This is 8 Pilgrim. Okay.
So for 8 Pilgrim Circle, we received a complaint from a neighbor that there are dumped wood pallets, brush, grass, and other debris piles within the wetland regulated area on the property. It was inspected by agents using the neighbor's property. That was on June 11th, 2026, and confirmed the violation. You can see the photos in the file for the when we sent out the original notice. We then had the meeting on July 7th, and at that point, we hadn't heard anything from the property owner, so the commission voted to change it from an NOV to a cease and desist. The property owner actually visited our office on the following day, and she claimed that she didn't receive the notice of violation until that morning, which would explain why she wasn't at the meeting. She sought an explanation, and we explained to her that because we hadn't heard anything, we sent out the cease and desist, so she knew that was on the way. And I did speak to her on the phone following her office visit, and she said that the wood pallet has been removed. And Bob provided pictures today that Donna has over there, showing that the other debris piles appear to have been cleaned up.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's cleaned up and ready to go?
Does it need to be inspected again? No?
We get the pictures.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Based on the pictures provided, I will make a motion to close the cease and desist for 8 Pilgrim Circle.
Second.
Kevin and Kelly seconded. Any discussion? Anybody? You can't see the pictures, but sorry. You guys. Okay, roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes to close the cease and desist. Okay, next is 5.
Hold on. Let
Oh,
me get it.
oh, he's got to come back in. Are you going to need these? Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, we'll get them. I'll give them to you after. So close. Okay. Next on the agenda is a cease and desist for 504 Hazard Ave.
504 Hazard Avenue. The CTDEP was doing a trout study in the Scantic River and in Terry Brook, and they noticed that the landscaping company that is operating at 504 Hazard Avenue was dumping dirt and debris piles onto the slope that leads downwards towards Terry Brook. Agents inspected on July 8th, 2026, using the town-owned sewer easement access road. And while we couldn't see the slope down towards the river, we did confirm the storage of trucks, trailers, equipment, and other debris piles up in the parking lot. You can see those photos. The photo of the piles that are sloping down was taken and submitted by CTDEP. Obviously, they were in the water when they took those pictures. We couldn't do that during our inspection. But it's important to note that the Scantic River has a 200-foot upland review area as opposed to the usual 100-foot. And all of this regulated activity appears to be within that buffer. The cease and desist was sent out on July 13th, 2026. We have not heard anything back from them as of today. They aren't here as well.
Company we had an issue with before?
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I believe so.
Do you have the picture there? I didn't-
No, I don't have the picture. It's on the tablet. I didn't print it.
You're saying this is
I will. I'll pull up those pictures for the virtual
okay,
people
that's
too.
Yeah, if you can pull those up,
I
because
think it is.
we had a long, right near the church,
Yeah.
like two up, because they were not supposed to store any vehicles back there. And they had, and they had, did they not have to plant trees or something?
Yeah.
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 Is that the right zone to be having a landscaping company? I know it's
Well,
not
that's
us,
not
but
us, but
we could refer it to PZC to look into.
Oh, for the zoning. Yeah.
That would solve the whole problem, because then they couldn't be there.
Well, I know.
504 Hazard Avenue, Enfield, Connecticut.
It did look familiar, but I don't. I wish there was an easier way to search online
Yeah.
to see. Because I don't have anything in my records.
So apologies for the quality, but it was a little wet
That's
that
okay.
day.
Yeah, I can tell it's raining.
You can see the debris piles there.
that's
Then we have here looking down the driveway. You can see they're storing trucks, equipment,
yeah.
and then the DEP photos.
Is it the same?
I don't have as open, an open one.
No.
So
I
they,
think we closed it. 'cause
you must
they-
have closed it because they did what they were
Well,
supposed
we
to.
had the
done
issue-
everything, but we closed it because they said they were going to do it.
Well, they had planted trees, and
Right.
it was, and I remember that was the last bit that had to be done. But it was the exact same issue. That's the one from the DOT.
Yeah,
Yeah, DEP.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. From the DEP. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
took that from the water.
Yeah,
So
that's an issue.
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're not responding to you.
Yeah, we sent it out a week ago yesterday, and we have not heard anything.
And do we know? They are standing in the water. It's that close.
I mean, from what we know from them, they were in the water sampling trout. So
So yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
I think we're thinking the wrong building.
It might be, but
Because the one 504, I think, is right around the brewery, where the trout is.
It is the brewery. This is
okay. Then it's a different one. It's far. It's
yeah.
way
So
much farther.
there's multiple units on that.
The big,
on that
long,
lot.
red building on the other side, or
Yeah.
behind the brewery that goes down. You got the trout on the right-hand side looking at it.
Do we know who the owner
Right.
is of the building?
We
504
did not.
LLC.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
yeah,
they
it's right
must
by-
they must lease it to someone because the owner we have on record is just 504 Hazard Avenue LLC. I think that's because it's if you look at it on GIS, it's one big parcel.
Parcel. You're right.
And there's a bunch of different buildings on it that are all probably leased out to
Yeah,
independent.
that property is so close to the Scantic River,
Yeah.
and if they're not responding,
That's the property, the state put a lot of money in that area, and that would be a shame if it got all plugged
Messed
up
up.
again.
So, suggestion?
Well, if they're not going to respond,
I would say
then it would
definitely
be-
uphold it for now, but
I'm thinking more than that.
Yeah, I do too.
What about DEP?
Well, we've had a hard time with DEP actually acting on anything.
Oh,
They should have to stabilize that, you know.
Well, they
have
gotta
netting
remove
They
it.
got to remove it and stuff, yeah.
I know, but until they get ready to remove it, they should stabilize it so it doesn't go
Do
anywhere.
is
You know, with
this
the netting.
is this our first fine?
Could
Oh,
be.
yeah. Okay, Christopher.
Chris?
Fine.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could definitely discuss that. Seems like this would be a situation where that would be warranted.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty
serious.
Yeah, it's serious. This could really, especially with the wildlife that they're trying to survey there and they see it. I don't know what the steps are because we've never done it. So what's the steps? You've not done it either.
Well, I think we should propose that we start the process for the
Yeah.
fines.
I would say
And
that
yeah.
makes sense.
You were going to come back in September with the steps, so I
Yeah.
guess you're going to have to start earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say we start the process to our first $1,000 fine.
yeah, would assume that the first step would probably be sending them a letter saying we're going to fine you.
Well, they already got the cease and desist. And does it say the fine on the cease and desist?
It says that they are subject to
To a fine,
to
yeah.
fines, assuming that they don't, remedy the situation, which they haven't yet. So I would agree
Yeah.
with you guys that.
So this
That makes
is
sense.
not correct either, it looks like.
How long has a cease and
100
desist been in?
Now, this is, for the cease and desist, it says on the end of the first paragraph, if you look at it,
But it says $150
$50
per
a day, and that's not right.
That's not been updated.
When was the cease and desist written?
It was issued the July 13th.
So fairly new.
Yes, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a week
Yeah, but
old.
they didn't respond after a week.
Yeah, July 13th, yeah, they haven't responded. Well, I think we start the process,
Yeah,
and then if they respond, let us know.
it might spur them to respond.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to remove all of that, put up silt fencing immediately. And we have to look at, they're storing vehicles there.
Yeah.
I don't know is that permitted there?
According to the wetlands regulations,
Yeah.
you can't store anything, any
Right.
equipment, any vehicles
No.
without
Yeah.
a permit.
Can you go back to the other pictures, please?
Yeah, give me one sec.
Yeah, this is 150 a day bus for that.
Yeah.
Well, the $150 a day is for the cease and desist, saying they have to stop.
Okay, so it doesn't say the 1,000. So you're going to have to get a letter or something out about the 1,000.
Yeah, so they have to stop storing the vehicles, they have to, and other equipment, they have to
Yeah.
stop the
Yeah.
dumping of brush and grass and all that stuff. So they have to stop. If they don't stop, they get charged
Yeah.
$150 a day. It's not,
Yeah, all that dirt, the runoff that they're getting.
yeah.
Did the owner of the property get a copy of that?
Yeah, they sent it to 504 LLC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not the tenant.
Well, no.
I mean,
it's-
as
that's
per our
all-
records,
that's the-
when we pull up the property, we mail them to the
Okay.
property owner on record, and that's who it was. So
Yeah.
when they get it, it's on them to pass it along to
Okay,
their
thank you.
tenant.
Yeah.
You don't think, myself personally, 7 days is jumping the gun? If it's the cease and desist is dated the 13th,
What does it say?
2 days
Yeah.
in the mail, Somebody could be on, I think we should.
Okay, they have to
But the
respond within,
severity.
they have to respond within 10 days.
Yeah, so if they don't respond within 10 days, I say we start the process.
Yeah,
Which it hasn't been 10 days.
right, yeah.
So I would say, to answer your question, Ken, I would say for now, I think you uphold it,
Yes.
Yeah.
keep it, and then come September, hopefully we've heard something from
No,
them. and
I
then-
don't want to wait that
That
long.
long.
Or not till the next meeting, but
August.
yeah,
I'd say,
Meeting.
call a special meeting for it.
well, we don't have to call a meeting to start the process.
Right. You just have to start the process.
Okay.
We're authorizing you to start the process. If you
Got it.
don't hear from them
Yeah.
within 10 days of this thing,
Got it.
then start the process.
If we needed to have an emergency meeting.
We will.
I mean, I think this is serious enough.
Oh, yeah,
that-
yeah. Yeah.
Because although the cease and desist is going on, this is not just
Yeah,
happening, so.
it's got to be
Yeah.
cleaned up.
Fair enough.
And it's in a
Does
critical area.
that sound reasonable, Chris?
I think that's the prudent way to go, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm writing it down on my, yeah.
In the meantime, get that updated.
No, no, this is right.
Okay.
This is saying, if, this is regarding the cease and desist. If
Yeah.
you don't act on this and stop doing what you're supposed
It's
to be doing.
150.
Then it's 150 a day.
Right,
It's not it's not,
Can
it's
that
not the
be-
same as a violation.
Can
Right.
that be in addition to the $1,000?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because this is in process of the cease. We mailed this to you, we said,
Yep.
stop, you didn't stop, so you got the 150 a day.
Yep.
But then we can also violate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Hit them in the pocketbook, you might make
Yeah.
a difference.
Am I reading that correctly, Chris? Is that correct? What I
Yeah,
see?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I would interpret that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
yeah, it's hard to tell, though, that one truck, I can't even tell what's in it. It almost looks like there's stuff in it and are like maybe broken down. I don't know, there's 3 trucks there.
I think we may have more pictures in this file that I can pull up for you from our inspection.
So on the inspection, did you actually go on the property or?
There is a town-owned sewer easement, then there's an access road, so we took all our pictures from the access road. And there's a park entrance there too, and a parking lot.
And it's a town road. It
Yes.
was a town road, then they made it private, then they gave it back to the town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Deep did it from the
right.
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to check the vehicles, you
Is
have
that lightning?
to
Yeah.
be there.
Oh, lightning?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start violation. Okay, so with that one done, are you looking for pictures or? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, God.
They have
yeah,
stuff
okay.
all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all gonna be, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Premier, okay, so it's Premier Property Management?
So it looks like,
Oh, wow.
What a mess.
Not great.
oh,
I'm surprised the other tenants haven't complained about the mess.
Well, it's at the end, so maybe
They might
they
not
didn't
see
go
it.
down that far.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We got our plan.
okay. So after that, could we get an update on Yankee Casting for September? Is that-
I have not heard anything from
Yeah,
them.
could you, like, somebody reach out?
Yeah, we
Get
can
an
check
update?
on that.
It's in somebody's attorney's hands.
Attorney or deep still?
No, Deep signed off on it,
Okay.
so I went to an attorney. So if we can get update on that, that'd be great. It's been years, it
Yeah.
needs to be addressed.
I don't think the guy that came to see us is even there anymore.
No, he was part owner, and I think he's not anymore.
Yeah, I think he's gone. Yeah. Okay, next is planning staff report. We'll let him finish writing.
Oh my gosh, where's my notes? So we are doing a modification to the general conditions for wetlands permits. The last few applications that have come through, the commission has been adding a site-specific condition to allow for topsoil to be brought in pretty much every time it comes up. But after discussion and review with staff today, the civil general requirements in the site restoration subsection already allow the provision of 4 inches of topsoil and seed. So that's general building standards. So what we're going to do is now add it to the general conditions for wetlands permits under paragraph 9, highlighted. The modification is in red, capital lettering. So it will now read, any structures, excavation, fill, with the exception of up to 4 inches of topsoil, et cetera, shall constitute a violation of this permit. So on and so forth. So what this does is it eliminates that step for you guys. The commission now does not have to make that a site-specific condition every time anymore. And we put the cap, the limit of 4 inches on it, so that should cover any potential loopholes of people, bringing in truckloads of it. And
Can we make sure it's not like they don't think they could do it in the wetland area because they can't fill the wetlands, right?
so add it to, what would that be, paragraph?
Well, probably would.
And shouldn't it say clean fill to make sure that they don't bring in invasive species by accident?
Well, that's hard. That you can't.
Well, it already says fill in the general conditions, so what we're just doing is
Just adding that.
just adding the exception of, topsoil so they can seed it and get it back to the,
But I don't want people to think that they could do it in the wetland.
Right, and I don't want people to think that they can do it without putting grass seed down or seed down or something. You know what I mean? That's my biggest concern.
Yeah,
that
I
it's
would like
just
to see
for
it.
fill process prop.
I would like to see
so
it
we can say
spread
topsoil and seeding
What did you say?
Topsoil with
with seeding.
yeah.
And you were going to say?
I would like to see it spread in a timely fashion, not just sit there.
Right, well, that's 4 inches, so if it's sitting there and it's 6 feet, then it's not.
That's true. Okay.
Let's see.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Do we need to do a
Yeah,
motion?
do we need to approve that?
No.
I don't think.
No, this was just notifying you guys and getting your comments and thoughts on it.
Okay. Anything else?
That is all.
That is all, okay. Next is applications to be received. DPN number 2026-0715, 86 Weymouth Road. Application for a jurisdictional ruling for expanding a pond into the wetlands. Angela and Christy Bosco, applicant owner, map 49, lot 9, R44 zone. That's it.
Madam Chair, I have a question. So this one came through us before, and we already approved the pond. And from my understanding, they're just expanding the wetlands, so it's improving the wetlands. Can't they just get a administrative approval?
No, because you're not allowed to excavate wetlands without an approval.
Yeah.
But didn't we already approve that? That's
Not to do what they're,
this
not
space,
this,
no.
not what they're doing.
No.
Yeah, the original application came through back in April this year. The pond was there, but they're increasing it. They're increasing the size of it now. They're making it way bigger.
Yeah.
And it's going more into the wetland than it was originally. And
I'm amazed. Most people try very hard to stay out of the wetlands.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. They're improving it and adding to the wetlands.
Well,
That's
why they have to come to us to make sure they're doing
it's
it
a
correctly.
determination of a permit needed. They want to know if they have to get another permit.
Oh, they want, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even really technically a permit.
Shouldn't be a
Well, they want to know if they need the permit,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's an application for something to see if they need an application.
Yeah, but
I guess I'm just concerned because now they got to wait all the way till September, and it's going to chew up.
They're not ready to
you know,
build anyways.
yeah, it's
They got to build the whole house.
It's Ken Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows they got to wait till September, and obviously we'll have everything prepped for you guys for
Yeah.
it come
They got a lot of
September.
work to do before they get there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, my
I
misunderstanding.
mean, before they get to that part.
Okay, I just, the construction calendar is very short in
Yeah, but they
Connecticut.
got to build the house. They I mean, they haven't
Gotcha.
started anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So they got plenty of time.
I don't think they were in a hurry.
I don't think they're in a hurry, yeah. Anything else? Next is 15, miscellaneous?
Yes, I do have something. So, Jeffrey, I was on Hazard Avenue going towards Summers and back. It used to be a nursing home that we approved, and it was converted to
Kind of apartment.
residences, apartments, or whatever. They have, it looks like a retention pond, but it's not. It's a spillway. And I think that it's all mostly graded, but they have a huge pile of soil, huge, probably 20 yards in this spillway with no sedimentation control. And I believe that probably drains into the Scantic, or it definitely goes into the Scantic. They need to either, because the rest of it is finished graded, they either need to get rid of that soil pile right away or put up some sedimentation control.
We will definitely go out and
Yeah.
inspect that. Can I have the address one more time if you don't mind?
I
doesn't
You
don't
don't know
know
it.
the address, but
She's looking it
she
up.
knows what it is. Yeah, Blair Manor, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of it.
See it.
But it didn't work.
Well, we will go out there and take a look at it.
Thank you. Any other comments, discussions, concerns?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, Jenny.
All in favor?
I like my new chair. Nice.
Second.
Okay, second is Kelly. It's 7:15. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all in favor. Thank you,
Chair
everybody.
make noise.